This is TB Talks and BS Walks. Join the conversation or the BS. Here are the masterminds behind the microphone, Tyler and Brian.
Hey everybody, welcome to TB Talks BS Walks. I am Brian, and with me, as always, is Tyler.
What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. Kind of a crazy couple weeks.
It has been. Both of us have experienced a couple of deaths in the family, so we've both been kind of recuperating from that. So this podcast might feel a little loose, but we're just going to roll with it. And want to let you guys know up front, next week will be our first live cast. We're actually going to give a video cast so you can put faces with the names. And we're going to have a special guest. It's going to be our local celebrity segment. We're going to try to do this once a month, ideally. But we're going to have Lyle Strickland on the show. And Lyle is a good friend of mine, and he's a very, very talented individual, great singer-songwriter. And he's going to chat with us about the music industry and his journey up until now, and what he's doing with his life now, post-music career. So be sure that you stay tuned for that. We will update you on Twitter and Facebook when to tune in for that. In the meantime, we're going to get right into it. Brian, what do you have for me, buddy?
Well, first off, was the hurricanes we're having. We have Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irene. Harvey, which has pretty much done its damage and is on its way out, is being followed very closely by Irene. And I just, you've been seeing a lot of it on news and everything, and I thought it'd be good for us to put out where people can go to donate to help with the relief efforts. And also mention that if anybody has like a church that's planning on going out there to help for anything, or has a food drive going or anything, if you guys would just message us on Facebook or Twitter, any one of our platforms, and just let us know so we can get that information out on the next cast. We also have fires out in Oregon that apparently were started by a couple of kids with fireworks.
Really?
Yeah, apparently a lady saw them setting fireworks and reported them, and that thing has gone over 20,000 acres of damage now. From what I was able to find out just in the last couple of days, they just got some of it under control. They're actually starting to push it back a little bit, but it's been days now of just ash in the air through Oregon, and Montana has its own fire, and I don't even know how that one started.
I was following the Hurricane Harvey footage, and I do believe that they stated that at some point, I believe there was 50 inches of accumulated water within a 3-day period. I mean, that is insane. And when you have, the other two developing right behind it, I mean, it's like a domestic violence situation in storms.
Oh, yes.
And as Brian said, I'll just reiterate the fact that, if there's any place that you plan on donating, let us know. Drop a comment in the comment section, or if there's a place that of where people can go to donate money for the relief efforts. As he said before, hit us up on the Twitter or the Facebook, whether it be in a PM or drop a comment on YouTube, and we will definitely get that on the air. Keep in mind that you can tweet questions to our Twitter page or to our Facebook if there's anything that you would like covered in an episode of our show, or any questions you would like answered. We will be more than happy to get to that. So we watch our Twitter and Facebook every week. And if there's any new questions that pop up, we'll be sure to get those. So we have our Twitter management team that takes care of most of our Twitter. So, but they will get with us. And if there's anything that you guys want to hear us talk about, or address, be sure to let us do that.
Yep. Now, as I said, we got the redcross.org/donate/hurricane-Harvey. That's where you can go to donate money. If there's anything else, let us know. We have... I kind of went as far as to see where Ohio's at, and it looks like we got low winds in Ohio from Harvey, I should say. I looked at where Harvey ended up at, and apparently we got low winds in Ohio because of Harvey, but it looks like it's dissipating. And then Irene's headed through Puerto Rico, Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas, and then finally heading towards Florida. Now, the projected path doesn't actually show that it's going to hit those places, but it's getting close enough. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some damage. So, and we've lost several towns throughout Texas, like completely lost. There's nothing. I think Rockwell, Texas was the biggest one, and it is like off the map. There's nothing left. And there's about 3 or 4 other towns that were heavily affected besides Houston. So it's definitely a concern. With the deal in Oregon, we haven't had a lot of news coverage over it, but I thought it was worth a mention because I haven't seen a fire this bad since the Big Bear fire here in New Mexico. It's gotten way out of hand up there.
It has, and our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody suffering from this. Did you happen to see the picture that was tweeted out of the residents in the nursing home that were in like 3 foot of water?
I did see that. Oh, that's another shout out I wanted to make. I can't remember the name of the furniture store though now that I think about it. On your Facebook, I'm sure you've seen it. There's a gentleman out there in Texas, Houston area, who has opened up his furniture store to refugees and given the showroom floor to the emergency responders, the National Guard, so they can rest for a few hours in between going out and saving people. So I can't remember your name, but I wanted to throw a thanks out there to y'all. It's heartwarming, and I'm sure they're grateful, but I'm grateful for you as well.
I did see that on my Facebook when I was scrolling through my newsfeed the other day. There was like 3 pictures then where this guy had opened up his store and let the refugees, and then I heard that he's also letting active members of the military that are home on leave or waiting deployment. He's letting them use his the beds and stuff also, which is really cool thing to see happening.
Yes, definitely. But that's all I have as far as those are concerned. I hear you have some tech information for us, though, so I'm going to slide right into that because I love tech. I love tech.
I do. So I'm pretty excited. I got my pre-order secured for the Galaxy Note 8 that drops on the 15th, which I believe is next Friday. However, if you pre-ordered, they are allowing certain retail locations to sell the phone early. So check with the store that you pre-ordered at, and there's a good possibility that you get an early release. Nice. But I did kind of want to go over that. Everybody was a little bit leery, myself included, about the Note 8. I'm sure that most of you know the issues that the Note 7 was plagued with last year when the phone was recalled on 2 different times due to the battery randomly exploding.
Yes.
And so Samsung kind of unveiled some things with the new flagship phone, and I haven't got my hands on it yet, but I think that they have redeemed themselves. And I just kind of wanted to do a quick overview and specs of the phone, which there's 100 reviews on YouTube. You can go and watch it if you don't want to listen to me talk about it. But there were some people saying that the Note 8 was like a glorified S8 Plus, which is not entirely true. The Note 8 is a bigger smartphone. Obviously, it comes with the Samsung S Pen stylus. That's the flagship for the Note. But some of the specs that I just kind of wanted to point out on that, the Note 8, you're looking at 8.6 millimeters of thickness versus the S8 Plus is slightly smaller at 8.1. Both phones have a AMOLED display. However, you're going to get the 6.3 inch screen versus the 6.2 inch on the S8 Plus. You're getting just a little bit there. Both phones resolution coming in at 2960 by 1440. Both obviously operating with Android 7.1 and 7.0. The Note 8 comes factory with 64 gigs of storage, so you're not losing anything as far as storage goes if you already have an S8 Plus. Both phones have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor. Note 8 is giving you 2 extra gigs of RAM at 6 gigs versus the S8 Plus's 4 gigs of RAM. 12 megapixel rear camera and 8 megapixel front camera on the S8 Plus. But the coolest thing I think the phone has to offer, without getting my hands on it, is the Note 8 has a dual 12 megapixel rear camera and an 8 megapixel front. Some of the videos and pictures that I saw that people were able to take with that dual camera on the back, it's got background blur that doesn't look unrealistic at all. A lot of people were disappointed it didn't have a wide angle lens, but it's got the telescopic lens on it. But I think you'll be really happy with the phone itself. Obviously, both putting out 4K video with Bluetooth and the fingerprint sensor. The one thing that they did not change that I wasn't happy with on my S8 was the fingerprint sensor that they put on the phone was just in a very, very awkward location. It was up to the right of the camera, and it just made it really, really hard to get to if you've got small hands like me. And they didn't change that on the Note 8. I was kind of disappointed in that aspect. I know if you look at the LG V30, they have the fingerprint sensor on the back that's in a much better location. So if that's a make it or break it thing for you, the LG V30 is going to solve that problem. Both phones obviously water resistant. However, the surprising thing to me was the Note 8 has a smaller battery life than the S8 Plus. Note 8 is a bigger phone but has a smaller battery life. So I was surprised at that. However, both phones, obviously, you can use the quick charging if you have a wireless charger. And the Samsung S8 Plus had a price tag of $850. The highest phone ever recorded for Samsung is going to be the Note 8 with a mind-boggling price tag of $930 if you buy the phone outright.
Sheesh.
However, I'm doing the leasing option, which makes it a little bit better, coming in at about $40 a month leasing the phone. But I can't imagine if you're going to buy the phone outright, I would not think that the Note 8, my personal opinion, I don't think it's worth spending that extra $100. I think you'd be just fine with the S8 Plus, but a $930 price tag for a cell phone is pretty insane. I can only imagine where they go from here. I know that Apple has got the iPhone 8. I haven't had any official release content on that yet, to my knowledge. But I did just kind of want to give you some information on that. So if you have pre-ordered the phone, again, check with your local retailer wherever you pre-ordered it. And some stores have been approved to do an early release, so you might get your hands on it a week early. That is all that I had in that section. So if you're interested, are you an Android guy or are you an Apple?
I'm definitely Android. I can't stand the limited amount of things you can do on Apple when I'm the type of person who likes to get apps that aren't necessarily supposed to work on phones to work on phones. So Android is just open enough. I enjoy it.
Well, I was an Apple guy for many years. I believe up until the Galaxy S7 came out, and then I jumped ship and was totally blown away at how much freedom I had in the phone. Apple, as you know, always works. They're very reliable as far as their product, but the restrictions that they put on their products is what was mind-blowing to me after I switched over to Android. And I argued for years that Apple was a better product than Android. And after I got my hands on the S7, I decided to jump ship. I was highly impressed at how much freedom I had, customization options I could do on my phone. So I think I will forever be an Android guy. Apple's going to have to pull some strings to get me to cross back over, like, unlocking all of their software to where we can customize it the way we want it without having to jailbreak it. Because as you know,
Exactly.
if you jailbreak it, it voids your warranty. It voids your warranty, and that's no bueno.
Exactly.
So, next topic. What do you got for me?
All right. Well, this is a big one. We've been hearing about it a lot in news. Just so everybody knows, where I'm getting my information from is straight from the websites of ABC, Fox, and CNN. So if you have any questions or you want to look more in depth to what I'm about to talk about, definitely look at those websites. They'll give you the information there of where I'm getting. And just so you know, this is my personal opinion. If you have the facts and information that I can look up and verify, I'm more than happy to do so. But initially, what I am about to say is strictly based on my opinion. So before y'all pound me with information, just know this is just opinion. What we're looking at is the missile test that North Korea did recently. Kim Jung Un has put out there that he's got now a hydrogen bomb that can attach to an ICBM, which is a long-distance missile, so it can make its way down here if he so chooses. And we have, let's see, I've got a few here to go over. We had CNN, basically, getting on to Trump for being aggressive, which that's his personality. He is aggressive, but that's getting on to him, saying he's not thinking things through. He's been fighting the South Korean president, Mr. Moon. I don't know, his full name always seems to escape me. But he's been fighting with Mr. Moon over the phone on how to handle this situation. So it's just been a big mess there. We have Nikki Haley from Fox wanting to do strong sanctions against North Korea due to the test. But Fox made no mention of arguments over the phone. It's amazing how much information gets left out in between news outlets. That's kind of why I went to all three, to kind of point out it's strange that news outlets will bash one thing, leave out other information, and then the next one will bash one thing but leave out other information. It's like if you get all three of them, apparently he was arguing with Moon over the phone. They want to do sanctions, but they don't want to mention the president's add-ins with Mr. Moon, if he so is. And then we have Ted Cruz, not exactly agreeing with how the president is approaching, but believing we need to do something. And then we have Joaquin Castro claiming that this shouting match over Twitter is going to escalate the situation. Now, again, this is just an opinion of mine, but I don't believe blaming Twitter or YouTube for escalating issues is valid. I think that would probably be something they're doing over the phone, or Trump is doing through China, basically. Well, that's, again, my opinion.
You talked about Schumer. Didn't you just mention him?
No, Joaquin Castro. I got Ted Cruz. I got Nikki Haley. But I have not.
I saw that somebody had posted a picture. It was on CNN's website about Schumer, and everybody now, the Republicans are up in arms because Donald Trump briefly sided with Democrats the other day about a debt ceiling increase. And there's a picture that was released. It was taken by Alex Wong, who is a Getty photographer. And the photograph was of President Trump with Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer pretty much hugging in a picture. And they did a breakdown of it. And it was, Trump was grinning like a Cheshire cat, is what somebody quoted. He had his left arm on Schumer's right arm at the bicep, which everybody referred to as a classic Trump power move. Trump's right arm was at the line between Schumer's shoulder and his neck. And they went through and analyzed the picture. That Schumer was using his right index finger to point at Trump, and what was almost certainty is a sort of "you aren't going to regret this" kind of moment, kind of thing. And I spent some time looking to see where Schumer's left arm was in the shot, and I never could figure it out. And it's kind of just what you said. The media, you only see what they want you to see, most of them. And there was another picture of Trump in a raft boat in the middle of the water with hurricane relief efforts. And, you know, that photo was a little bit harder to find than what was on the front page of CNN. So, you know, people continue to bash the man, but it is what it is. And it's just like I said in the last podcast, though. He's the president, and whether you like him or whether you don't, we have to deal with that. So, yeah, it's just like you said, though. It's, you know, it's opinion, and, you know, people can agree to disagree. That's your choice. But anyways, I just thought it was kind of ironic that, you know, they were breaking down this photograph that somebody took of Trump and the Senate Democratic leader.
Well, it's gotten that desperate, basically. I mean, we were looking at people across the nation. You know, both of us have our kind of opinions on Trump. I'm not a huge fan, but it's getting to the point now, you got one side yelling impeachment, the other side, you know, backing him up completely, and then you got another side out there who's just, you know, against everybody.
They will never impeach Trump. They will never impeach Trump. That will never happen, because all the things that he's done, the bad definitely is a lot less than the good he's done. You know, or what's the word I'm looking for? The good definitely outweigh the bad. Trump will never get impeached. That will never happen. You know, I mean, they don't have the balls to do it anyways, in my personal opinion.
The problem I have is the micro, you know, the little micro stuff that they have to point out. Like, why are you going to go through such an analytic review of a picture about where they're holding arms and who's doing what and who's pointing where, just so you can try to make somebody look bad when you're that desperate? Just let it go. Okay, when he makes his mistake, it's known. Everybody knows it. We don't need a point-by-point analytic review of a picture to look out for something that's going to happen that we're going to know the minute it does, because you guys are watching him like a hawk. So calm down. That's my thing. Just chill out. It'll happen. It's going to happen, but
it's just like I said the other day. The world is hypersensitive right now. Everybody is so easily offended by everything, and yeah, and it's sad. It's sad that that's what the world has come to. But you know, you can't say anything without offending somebody else.
That is going to be a big subject on the next podcast we do, not live. That's something I wanted to cover. It's a personal rant I have that I tend to go to every now and then, and I felt like I was going to do it on the podcast next time we actually do a week-long one, because our next two are going to be kind of short just because of the traveling I have to do and everything. But that is something I want to cover on one of these podcasts, is what I think about tolerance and intolerance and the way people react on that. But that's for another time.
Yeah, and just in closing, before we jump off of that topic, you know, the end result of this picture, you know, obviously was that Trump sided with Schumer and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi in agreeing to a 3-month extension of the debt ceiling and funding for the government in exchange for the $8 billion in Harvey relief efforts that he requested. So, but as I said, we're going to get into more on hypersensitivity and things of that nature in the next episode. I did want to make mention that we've got some new things coming to the show. As I said, this is a work in progress. I do want to apologize for those of you that listened to our first couple of episodes for the audio delay. As I told you in the first episode, currently this is via Skype, and I'm on a cell phone, and Brian is on a computer. So there are some audio issues we're still trying to work out. It's not perfect. It won't be pretty for a while. However, things are slowly getting better. So if you just bear with us on that, we are trying to get all this taken care of. Once I get into my house, which, by the way, I'm closing on Friday, so I'm pretty excited about that. Thank you. Once I get into the house and get everything moved and get set up and get the computer hooked back up, things will be a lot smoother. So I appreciate your due diligence and for bearing with us. But one of the new things that we're going to bring to the show is Brian's Moment. And we are going to get into that about now. It's got to be a shorter podcast today due to timing because I procrastinated and didn't log on to the call until late. And I've got some things I have to do. However, Brian's Moment is going to be a new subject matter towards the end of the show where he covers some game reviews and things of that nature. And I'll let you tell him more about it, man.
Okay, yeah, Brian's Moment is going to be covering, new TV shows, new games, new things of that nature. Just kind of give you my expectations of the games or TV shows. Some of them may already be existent. Some of them are new. Like today, I'm this week, planning on covering Anthem, which is going to be out on the Xbox One X. Now, I know you've pre-ordered your Xbox One X, but are you planning on Anthem as one of your first games?
I haven't really read up on Anthem. I couldn't even tell you what it's about, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, Anthem is being made by Bioware. They're the same group that made Mass Effect, and though that may make some people cringe, to be honest, their first 3 Mass Effect games have been some of my favorite games, storyline-wise. And their kind of failure on this last Mass Effect Andromeda, though it was an enjoyable game, they've kind of gotten rid of that installation that worked on Mass Effect. So BioWare, I think it's Canada, Montreal, I do believe, is no longer existent. So they're not working on Mass Effect as of right now. They have moved on to Anthem. Now, Anthem is a game where you play as a character who goes into these suits called javelins, and you have about 3 different types that you can choose from. It's almost a Destiny type situation, but a lot more open. As long as they keep to their E3, this is my problem with E3. They always show awesome games, but then the game comes out and it's nowhere near the graphic quality or the content that they showed in E3. This one, I'm hopeful though. Being that it's on the Xbox One X and everybody's, hyped up about the Xbox One X, it's 4K resolution, it's got all this memory and teraflops, and you can go on and on about the Xbox One X. But if they keep to their E3 reveal, the game is going to be graphically pleasing. The storyline kind of keeps your attention. You're trying to, from what I could tell from the trailer, I'm trying to figure out what they're doing. It seems to be not like a post-apocalyptic. It seems to be a different planet, and them just trying to survive the elements, and the elements can be extremely deadly. So it looks like a very interesting game. There's a lot of land traversal. The javelins let you do all kinds of things, such as traverse underwater. You can keep in sustained flight for long periods of time. There's random natural disaster storms that just happen, and you can fly into them and discover different unlocks and treasures and abilities. So it looks like a very interesting game. And my initial, as far as Brian's Moment, his rating on this game at the moment is about an 8 out of 10. I'm really looking forward to this.
Do you have a release date?
I do not. They do not have a release date as of yet. Their E3 reveal was a big thing. It's rumored to be a Xbox One X exclusive release. Like when the Xbox One X comes out, this one's coming out with it. So I'm trying to keep my eye on
November 7th.
Yeah.
Then that would be November 7th.
There's not been a confirmation yet. I don't know if they're going to try and surprise people. Like I said, it was rumored to be released the same day as Xbox One X. So I'm just waiting for confirmation.
I haven't checked out any new games other than Call of Duty World War II. I've been knee deep in the beta. Did you get a chance to play?
Not.
Man, the World War II beta was pretty awesome. Just finished the second weekend of the private beta, and I was able to pre-order and get a code. And I will tell you, I gave up on the Call of Duty franchise after Black Ops when they started going futuristic.
As most people did.
Yeah, it just wasn't my thing. However, I was very, very pleased. I'd like to tie this in with your game review, if you don't mind. Kind of my thoughts and opinions on it after playing all weekend. It is definitely a return to boots on the ground combat, which means no exosuits, no red dot scopes, things of that nature. Which is, I originally bought an Xbox 360 for Call of Duty 2. If you remember Call of Duty 2, it was World War II, it was boots on the ground. So World War II, in my opinion, was not designed and created for a fresh new feeling, but it was, better yet, an attempt to reset the clock back to the very roots of Call of Duty. It definitely has that classic fast-paced action. The kill streaks were toned back a lot. They were merely a useful bonus instead of a game-altering super move that the last few entries have produced. There was not a lot of customization options, however, because it's a beta.
Yeah.
I just assumed that that was the reason why, they didn't want to reveal too much. But it gives you a good tease as to what's to come, in my opinion, compared to the last previous Call of Duty entries. The game seems fairer, less intimidating, and more classic Call of Duty gameplay. I play a lot of Battlefield, as those are probably my favorite first-person shooter games, and I was able to compare the look of Call of Duty World War II to Battlefield 1. SledgeHammer seems to have opened their eyes to realize that Battlefield is a huge contender in the first-person shooter genre, and I think they're trying to combat that. They're doing so by, just as every other game company does, copy each other's good ideas and try to enhance them or make them their own. The Zombies trailer looked pretty sick. They didn't get to see any zombie play in the beta. It was all multiplayer, but if you haven't got a chance to check out the Zombies teaser, you should definitely check it out. I would recommend not watching it by yourself.
Don't need another fear moment, huh?
If you know what I mean. If I had to give World War II a review, I'd say it's a solid 7 out of 10. It was a fun and refreshing experience, more like the good old days. So I'm excited to see them going back to that. If you guys played the beta, drop us a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you thought. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were some of the things in the beta that they could have improved on? What were some of the things that you liked? And overall, if you plan to pick it up, give us a comment in the comment section. But I just wanted to throw that in there while I was thinking about it.
I've always been a Battlefield fan. Battlefield 1942 was the first game I played on PC. It was one of my favorite games, so I kind of followed Battlefield until I got modern. And I kind of lost interest for the longest time, and then they came out with Battlefield 1, which I thought was going to be, kind of a refresh and update of Battlefield 1942. Even though 1942 was, World War II. Anyway, besides that.
Okay, let's cut through all the BS. You talked all of us into buying Battlefield 1 because you were so excited about that game, and then you don't play it. You don't play it anymore.
It's nothing like what I thought it was going to be. I didn't get a chance to play the beta of that one either. I was hyped up by friends who told me it was going to be like 1942, and I jumped in thinking it was going to be like 1942, and it just isn't. With the Battlefield franchise, when it first started, there were just little things. I mean, it's little things that bother me, but it was the little things that made it so enjoyable. When you started in a map, the areas you controlled had vehicles and weapons available like they do now, but they were on the field. Like, you could just run up to a vehicle, jump in, drive it, and go. Like, I drove transport vehicles in 1942 for my fellow players. So we'd run to the transport vehicle, 8 of them would jump in the back, and I'd drive that thing, and we'd go to our first drop location. So that, there was that kind of feel of, if the vehicle's on the field, I can grab it and go. And they took that away for Battlefield to where you have to, you select it at the beginning, and then you kind of roll in automatically. And that bothered me a little bit. But then there were the glitches that just got to me, and I just could not do it anymore. As excited as I was, being told it was going to be like 1942 and everything, you know me, I get hyped up about a game, and I can be very convincing. And then I get in there, and I'm like, this is crap, guys. I can't play this. It's stupid. I don't want to play this anymore.
You mean you mean the glitch where the bullet goes through mountains?
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful glitch. That's a great glitch. Nothing makes your day more than running behind a mountain and you get shot, and then it shows the silhouette of the person who shot you on the other side of the mountain, not anywhere near or visible to your location. It's like you just randomly shot and somehow it curved around the mountain and hit you square in the face.
You got more hit markers than anybody I know and never killed anybody.
Well, that's a compliment, because I don't believe my accuracy is that that good. But that was frustrating, unloading an entire clip into somebody and then just turn around and hit me with a shovel, and I immediately die even though I'm at full health. So that was frustrating. Well,
so what kind of TV shows are you watching right now? Let's get on that real quick.
TV shows, let's see. To be honest, I took a break from TV shows, went on YouTube, and I found a group of guys who are into animation, voiceovers, video games, and they kind of do it all. And most of you who are watching this on YouTube probably already know of their existence. They have a pretty huge following. They're called Neebs Gaming. They have almost movie quality gameplay. They have Subnautica, they have Grand Theft Auto 5, they have Ark Survival Evolved, they have animation stuff that they've done, they have the Duralius and Associates that they do. I mean, these guys they're funny, they're relevant. They just do a lot of different stuff. They have some where they're playing the game and just talking to each other, and then they have some, like with the Rockstar editor that came out, they went through and basically made it a movie. Like, each character is an actual character in the GTA universe that just does crazy stuff. So that's what I've kind of gone to. With the loss of my family, these guys have really kind of kept my humor in check and, kind of made the passing a little easier to deal with.
Let's hope they don't butcher that, man. Any movie that I've ever seen that was based off of a video game was terrible.
This is using the game itself. So they're making the movie as they play, so it's done through several episodes. So you get like a 30-minute episode of them playing GTA 5, but as characters in the GTA universe.
Oh, I'm following you now. Okay, so it's not like an actual movie based on Grand Theft Auto 5. It's just a movie of them playing Grand Theft Auto in character. Okay. I'm following you now. I've seen so many movies that were based off video games. Do you remember the old Super Mario movie?
Not.
It was. What was another one?
I say that, but I got to be honest. I have that movie. I have it.
So you're a closet fan,
basically,
is what you're saying.
John Leguizamo. At the time, I was a Leguizamo fan, so, Spawn, Mario. Gosh, I even had Moulin Rouge, okay?
Who plays Mario in that movie?
I don't remember his name. Like, he was a professional wrestler, though. No, not that. I'm sorry, that was the Mario TV show. No, in the movie, it was... Gosh, what is his name? I know his name, and now I can't think of it. Ah, crap. Do you remember? I don't remember.
Was it?
Oh, crap.
Was a little bit of short guy? A little bit of short guy?
It was a little bit of... he wasn't that short, but yeah, he was pretty short. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Give me a second. I'm going to Google that.
Doing the same thing. Might as well. Let's see. Bob Hoskins? Yeah.
Okay, he was the guy... Bob Hoskins was the guy that played Smee in Hook.
Yes. And that's another good movie. That's another great movie.
I always thought Danny DeVito should have been cast as Mario.
Is he even Italian? I can't tell.
I
can't tell.
His last name's DeVito. What do you think?
I guess he could be. I don't know. I spent the last 2 days calling Kim Jung Un a weird-headed Muppet, so my descriptions of people aren't exactly the best to go off of.
I mean, it doesn't get any more Italian than DeVito.
I don't know.
Have you seen all the? I think you kind of hit on it earlier in the last episode or two. Netflix is really, I think they cut a pretty big deal with Marvel, and they've got all these the Marvel TV series that they've got on Netflix now. Have you kept up with those?
To the entire Defenders, the new show that came out, the Defenders, and it was good. I would say out of all of the Marvel characters they have out right now that have their own shows, I liked Luke Cage, although it seemed a little, I don't know how to put it politically correct, like a racist. Seemed a little racist against white people, but it not too terribly bad. So it was pretty good. I liked Daredevil. I'm still working my way through Daredevil right now. It just seems to be like a long one. Iron Fist I thought was good, although a lot of people complain it doesn't follow the comics that much. I still thought it was pretty good. Out of all of them, Jessica Jones, though, you can only be a passive alcoholic for so long before it gets annoying. I think I said that before. You can only be a passive alcoholic for so long before it gets annoying. Like, she grew on me by the end of the Defenders, but when I first was introduced to her, she annoyed the living daylights out of me.
Well, I mean, you annoy the daylights out of me on any given day, so I feel her pain.
You choose to accept it, so I don't feel sorry for you.
You see, folks, this is the kind of friendship that we have. This is you're getting you're getting it firsthand right here. Brian, you know what time it is? It is that time. Time flies when you're having fun, man. I think that's all we got for today.
Yes, sir.
I did want to remind you guys again, be sure to tune in. Next week, hopefully, is when we're planning. It is possible it could be the week after, just depending on how Brian's travel schedule goes. That he is coming down my way here pretty soon. But we do plan on doing a live video cast. If you weren't listening at the beginning of the show, we're going to do it here at a local business here in town where I live. And we're going to have Lyle Strickland on the show, who is a local celebrity here. He's a fantastic singer-songwriter. And he is going to talk to us, as I said, about the music career and his post-music career, what he's doing now. He has kind of put music full-time anyways on the back burner and started a business. And so that's where we're going to be at, and we're actually going to talk about that. And he's going to give us all the ins and outs and things of that nature. It's going to be a good time. And not to mention, I mean, you get to look at mine and Brian's ugly mug and see why that we chose to do an audio-only podcast.
Exactly. That's why my face isn't on Twitch.
No, but your face is on Twitch. I've seen it on Twitch before. I think you kind of stopped doing it, but your face was on Twitch, because I've seen it.
This is true, but I got more followers when I took my face off. Which is another good movie. Face Off.
Well, if you want to give yourself a shameless plug, I'll help you out there. Is the Twitch channel active still?
No, I'm still having issues with my PC, actually, so it might be on hiatus until I receive my new PC, which will be a chore to do when I get back from the trip. But as of right now, my Twitch is kind of on pause.
Well, I guess whenever that gets back up and running, let us know. And that way we can put the link down there in the description box, and they can check that out also.
All right.
I know that you host a few streamers as well.
Oh, yeah.
But we're out of time. That's all we got for today. Brian, have safe travels, man. I know you're coming this way, and have safe travels. And I'll be seeing you soon.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, that being the end, we're going to say goodbye. This is TB Talks, BS Walks, TBBSC, and we will see you all in the next one.